Welcome back, Habbening viewers, to another Monday night's episode of the Prophet Amdallah. Yes, it is I, your extreme prophet of news, Ahmed Christopher Carrion. Today we have excellent news. The liberation of Syria has occurred. ISIS, HTS, Al-Qaeda, no. We are no longer extremists. We are now diverse individuals that absolutely respect all religious minorities, as long as they, of course, are on a mission to converting to our particular kind of Islam. When it comes to talking to Western donors, who we will absolutely need, we are very, very diverse. We may even stop to be stoning the gays. It will be glorious. Alhamdulillah. Welcome back, everybody. It's another Monday. You know what that means? It's time for another Habbening TV. Thank you very, very much to Mohammed, the spokesman of HTS, live from Syria via brain chip, assuring us all, of course, that they're not like the Al-Qaeda or the ISIS that you used to know. Absolutely not. They have changed. They have reformed. They have seen the benefits of diversity. Oh, God. Oh, my nose. Yes, and when they all come, of course, to the UK, which they are bound to do, remember, always Morgoth's first law of international conflict. No matter what happens anywhere in the world, the upshot is that there will be more fighting age men sent to Europe. So it's gonna be great. Tonight we have, of course, Syria has fallen, bros. Assad has gone. Who must go? Looks like he must go to Moscow. Apparently, he must go to Moscow. Yes, he is now safely in the loving arms and biceps of Vladimir Putin. Seems like, Syria, Chad's BTFO'd. Of course, it's not like Syria is now going to descend into, like, Libyan forms of internecine sectarian conflict. No, bros. As I was saying before, these are diverse, polite, westernized, moderate rebels. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about that. And also, look, the whole moderate rebels thing is really, really funny. Basically, right? Like, as soon as all this happened, the West is suddenly like, oh yeah, right? The guy who's leading them was literally the number 2 in ISIS, right? He was Baghdadi's, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi's right-hand man. But he's changed, bros. He has changed. They're all the West is like basically like doing their best to like whitewash this guy and be like, no, he's moderate now. He's changed, bros. So, we'll be talking about that. Breaking news, by the way, Daniel Penny has been acquitted from charges of defending white people whilst white in the New York trial. BLM are looking like they're preparing for another chimp out, but I don't know whether it's going to happen. The energy is a bit low. I don't know. I got a couple of clips, but at the moment that story is developing, so I can't cover it. Presumably, if anything kicks off, I'll cover it on the next show. And our final story tonight, of course, digital ID. You want it, right? Like, look, what everybody wants, what everybody needs in the United Kingdom is digital ID. You don't want it? Well, tough shit. The government's going to give it to you anyway. Yes, it's now been announced that from next year, you will be able to use a digital ID to buy alcohol and get into pubs for your convenience. For your convenience, of course. Yet another conspiracy theory that turned out to be conspiracy fact. Look, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion by this point. Blair says that it will be done, therefore it will be done. Oh, we have a super chat from Texas Man for $5. No dancing on my subway. It's open season on Michael Jackson impersonators in New York, bros. Bringing, of course, Michael Jackson's message of peace and dancing. Just slightly updated for modern times. I'm going to kill you all. I don't care if I go to jail. Right. So anyway, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. On Rumble, we have Seti Sapiente, Texas Man. Good to see you, sir. Excuse me. Ivan the Horrible, Livia Drusilla, Captain Chris, did I already mention Captain Chris? No, I didn't. Third Railify, good to see you, man. Hayes Reviews, Mikey Bikey, Patriots Flow. I think Teabagging Therapist is in here as well. It's lovely to see you all, man. Rat Fun King, God, Rumble be jumping tonight. Fox 39 forever. Wyatt's Torch. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Thanks for coming, everyone. It's lovely to see you all. On YouTube, we have Vorpal Anvil, the Nameless One. Lomax, good to see you, mate. Mass Creation Broadcasts, great to see you as well. Dawn Browning, of course, always showing up early, is Dawn. And on Rumble, we have Jeffrey Mill. And hello to all of you lurkers out there. I know you guys, don't want to participate in the chat. You're scared, but you should. Our chat's like very, very comfy. But hello to all the lurkers, nonetheless. Today's meme. Now, this is a not very, very well-known aspect of dating, but data has now dropped the most attractive male hobbies. Right? If you want to get with a woman, these are the hobbies you should be pursuing. Racism, gambling, alcoholism, loud racial slurs, absolutely crucial. Gaming, being a rapist, revving your Honda Civic loudly in the middle of the night, being a meme page admin. Oh, mate, the babies go wild for that one. Casual misogyny, of course, transphobia, essential. Cranking your hog. I don't know whether this means the bike or jerking off a lot. Forbidden knowledge. Oh, look, the girls all love a bit of forbidden knowledge. Can speak from experience here, right? Naming every train, your Borat impersonation, very nice. And of course, a love of firearms. So there you go. If you're worried about getting anywhere with the dating market, simply follow this handy guide, bros. Right, let's get on with the news. Just let me get the get the window up. Right, so I came across this on Twitter, and honestly, I just sat there like looking for about 2 minutes, just pondering the nature of power and the history of the Middle East. Honestly, I can't think of anything sort of more appropriate to describe Middle Eastern history, or indeed the history of many countries, than this meme, really. So there you go, right? That's my coverage of the Syrian conflict. You pull down, one statue of a dictator, and pop, another one pops up in its place. Except, of course, the next one is going to have a Islamic gay pride flag on it. I'm still very, very curious to see how the new moderate rebels are going to integrate Western mores with Islam, but So, basically, the 10,000 foot view, the situation in Syria. It's complicated, bros. It's complicated, bros. I'm not an expert on this, right? So, if anyone's like, oh my God, you don't know the particular thing, yeah, that's right. Look, I'm just trying to sort of like give as much of a sort of crayon drawing sort of version that I can. Jackson Pollock, of course, did not realize when he made this painting that he was in fact describing the situation in Syria. Amazing. The end of Assad rule will shape the region's balance of power. So yes, in case you weren't paying attention, basically the Syrian regime exploded essentially overnight. A bunch of rebels came in from Idlib in the northeast. Wait, I think I've got a map here. So it started out in Idlib, and then they took Aleppo. Then they went down to like Homs. Got rid of all the homosexuals, and then went down to Damascus. There was also a push, I believe, up from Jordan. I don't know whether the Jordanians let them through, or whether the Israelis or the Lebanese let them through. It doesn't really matter. The point is that it has fallen, as you can see. If you were around for the fall of Iraq, very, very similar energy in terms of the propaganda that's coming down. People standing on top of stuff, statues falling, all this kind of other stuff. This, of course, is from the BBC, so, this is going to be the gay and Western version. The West, of course, is very, very happy at the fall of Syria. What's going to happen to the Syrians? Well, look, it's complicated. Maybe they can all come to the UK, for diversity. I mean, the UK government has recently said they're going to need another 2.5 million migrants, for reasons, to build all the houses, for the people who will live in the houses, to build the houses, to live in the houses. It just keeps going on, bros. The fall of Bashar al-Assad was almost unthinkable a week ago when rebels started their astonishing campaign against the regime from their base in Idlib in Syria's northwest. I just want to point this out, right? Texas man, Mr. Fizz loves the BBC. Oh, so much. I just want to point out, if this was an outcome that the West did not like, the BBC did not like, the language, of course, would have been completely different. After you follow this stuff for a while, it's very, very easy to see which side the West is on, simply because of the way they describe the events. This is a turning point for Syria. Assad came to power in 2000 after the death of his father Hafez, who ruled the country for 29 years, and much like his son, with an iron fist. Yeah, much like Saddam Hussein did, and much like Muammar Gaddafi did. What happened to their countries after they were removed, right? These countries need a strong leader. Don't worry, I'm sure they are about to get another one. Assad Jr. inherited a tightly controlled and repressive political structure where opposition was not tolerated. So, like the UK. I mean, I jest, but how much do I jest? I'm not really sure. At first, there were hopes that he could be different, more open, less brutal, which would allow him to be more easily overthrown. But these desires were short-lived, as he was not overthrown. Assad will forever be remembered as the man who violently repressed peaceful protests against his regime in 2011, which led to a civil war. More than 500,000 people were killed, 6 million others became refugees. No way it was 6 million. Excuse me. Right. With the help of Russia and Iran, he crushed the rebels, and this, of course, is what it's really about. This is more sort of about the sort of World War III thing going on, basically, as a way to hurt Russia and Iran. And also, very, very importantly, to cut the pipeline of arms and aid that was coming from Iran. So you can... this is Iraq. You can see Iran over here. Basically, as long as Syria was sort of aligned to the axis of resistance, they could supply Lebanon in their war against Israel. So that has now been taken out of the equation. So, of course, the Israelis are very happy at this. Yes, supported Hezbollah. This did not happen this time, though, bros. His allies, preoccupied with their own affairs, essentially abandoned him. Without their help, his troops were unable, and in some places apparently unwilling, to stop the rebels led by the Islamist militant group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. It's ISIS. It's basically ISIS. We are now on the side of ISIS, bros. Wow. How the turntables turn. It's amazing. They do say that war makes for strange bedfellows. Well, Patriots following many Syrians in the West are saying they want to go back to Syria. I'll pay for their tickets. Yes, I think we only have a very, very small window to, encourage as many Syrians as possible to go back to Syria before the horrific extent of the people that are now ruling them sort of becomes apparent. I don't know. There's probably some sectarian thing. It's probably going to wind up like, it'll be great if you're Shia, it'll be bad if you're Sunni, it'll be very, very bad if you're Alawite or Druze or any of that kind of stuff. Like I was saying, it's complicated, right? Not an expert on this. Because you failed to mention that. Look, I already said it. I'm not a freaking expert. Shut the fuck up. Don't worry, bros. If you want to know what's going on, just ask the BBC, right? There's so much knowledge that we could learn, from sucking on the BBC, bros. So yes, first they seized Aleppo, then Hama, then Homs, where all the homosexuals live, and then Damascus, and the end of the Assad family rulership will reshape the balance of power in the region. As Livia Drusilla points out, the Kurds and the Christians will be eliminated. Well, not so fast there, Livia. Don't worry, the Turks have already invaded and taken over Kurdistan to protect the Turks. No one's going to protect the Christians, though. Maybe some of the, Syrian Christians could come to the West, but I think it's sort of a thing that you have to be an Islamist in order to get access to the West. So, so yes, they're allied, well, I don't know. Supposedly they're allied with the Houthis. I don't know if that's true. This whole thing is incredibly complicated. There are a lot of Syrian refugees in Turkey, about 3 million of them. I believe Turkey is encouraging them all to go home. So I guess we're going to see. Don't worry, bros. As I said, the situation in Syria is incredibly simple. It's going to be great. Livia Drusilla, what about the US station in the north? Well, they'll be helping ISIS, Livia, obviously, right? Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let's just not sort of think about 9/11 and radical Islam and all that kind of stuff. It was a long time ago. Have you considered focusing on more current events, such as slavery, for example? The map, what else have we got? So yes, this is basically what has been going down. Shortly after the fall of Aleppo, Israel seized more territory. Not a surprise. I believe the Turks have also invaded Kurdistan. Where is this on the map? Where's Turkey on this? Right, yes, that's Turkey there. So I think the southern part of here, Turkey has at least got troops in. As I said, it's complicated. It's going to be a massive free for all. This is one of these things that's going to shake out over a while. So it's early days yet, hard to say. Meanwhile, Bashar al-Assad apparently are in Moscow. This is not a real photo. This is a file photo. There are, as far as I'm aware, no photos of Assad in Moscow that are current. People on Twitter are just using this kind of stuff. As you can see, this is a currently developing situation. This is The Guardian. Everything's in red, so it's important. Allegedly, the former Prime Minister of Syria has agreed to hand over power to the rebels. There has been much rejoicing among certain parts of the population. The Israelis, of course, Israel will be taking command of Syrian territory. Syrian Christians will be protected from the Syrian Islamic groups, right? That Israel gave weapons to, yeah, right? No, I'm sure. So yes, Israel promptly announced that they're taking back the Golan Heights as a buffer zone. I mean, this would be to, be expected, honestly.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny in Damascus, offers great opportunity, but also is fraught with significant dangers. This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its oppression. But it also means we have to take action against possible threats. One of them is the collapse of the Separation of Forces Agreement from 1974 between Israel and Syria. This agreement held for 50 years. Last night it collapsed. The Syrian army abandoned its positions. We gave the Israeli army the order to take over these positions to ensure that no hostile force embeds itself right next to the border of Israel. This is a temporary defensive position until a suitable arrangement is found.
This is a temporary arrangement until suitable arrangements are found. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll be giving that territory back any day, I imagine. And of course, the Greater Israel Project, it seems, moves ever closer. Of course, for this to happen, they've got to take sort of most of Syria, but also a chunk of Turkey. I don't know how the Turkish going to feel about that. Half of Iraq and the northern half of Saudi Arabia. Whether this is going to go down, I don't know. But it is a thing, right? Eretz Israel is totally a thing. So whenever you are examining the motivation of Israel, you have to sort of look at it through that lens. How does it move towards Eretz Israel? Israel did also do a little bit of bombing all over Damascus and various other places, allegedly to make sure that various weapons and missiles and chemical weapons that the West has long alleged that Syria has, but there has been a whole thing of that. If you're around during the first Syrian war, the West were constantly accusing the Syrians of using chemical weapons, chlorine mainly, and it was a big to do. It looked like a lot of it was a psyop. They could never find them. No, fucking know how it goes. Now this is from Semiogog. He basically knows a lot more about this than I do. So I'm going to defer to his expertise. This was before the Syrian government had indeed collapsed. And will Turkey and NATO get their way there? it could serve as a Western face-saving exercise, allowing them to score a win while Russia is portrayed as taking a loss. Well, this is definitely true. At the moment, the Russian military bases that are on the coast at Latakia, I believe, and there's another one basically on the sort of, the coast of the Eastern Med. Apparently, those bases are still there. They haven't been, attacked. But how long until that changes? I don't know. Watch this space. We're talking now how Assad is a problem, and given the call between Erdogan and Putin shortly before it all launched, it might suggest that Russia is trading its Syrian client for better terms in Ukraine. Now, this could absolutely be true, right? Trump might have gotten on the phone with Putin and said, "Look, how about this? How about this, Vlad? How about you stop supporting the Syrian government and we'll cut a deal in Ukraine. We got to get something." And that US NATO is sacrificing Ukraine on behalf of Israeli-US interests in the Middle East. This might explain why Russia would fail to spot thousands of men mobilizing for an offensive. If the Syrian government does fall, which it has, he'd be looking to see how Turkey's BRICS partner country application goes. If it's not refused, it would suggest that Russia was not inconvenienced, suggesting that Russia was okay with this outcome. They might have cut a deal basically saying that Russia can keep its naval bases. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if Iran really is pulling out of Syria and recalling allied militias. If this is the case, he would expect Russia to finally sign or go in public with a more substantial and official military alliance with Iran as compensation, given that it would be less likely to create trouble for Russia vis-a-vis Israel's supporters. It could be a big win for Israel and cut off Iran's allies in Lebanon, thereby giving Israel a very real win in exchange for Iran getting under a Russian nuclear umbrella. So this is another possible deal. Iran, you pull out of Syria, you can get closer to Russia. The Israelis can then defeat Hezbollah without them getting rearmed from the east. And of course, it would raise all sorts of questions about Lebanon's future and the future of the Kurds. Now, as I was saying before, apparently the Turkish have taken over Kurdistan. I'm not sure if that's been formalized or anything like that. This would potentially serve Turkey in a couple of ways. They might be able to sort of force their very, very large Syrian refugee population back into Kurdistan. It's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be interesting to watch. Now, reactions from the ground. Some people are happy. Some people are not so happy. People who were sort of Libya watchers were basically saying, yeah, everyone was really, really happy when Gaddafi fell as well, until all the other stuff started happening. And and this is the worry, of course, that you're happy that the tyrant that rules you goes, but the tyrant that is about to rule you is going to be even worse. The good times the bad times are over. Now it is time for the even worse times, bros. So yes, wait, hang on. We have Third Railify is giving. Yes, right. Okay. Thank you for your analysis, Third Railify. Much appreciated. Let me see. Yeah, right. Okay. Now, again, people who were alive for the fall of Iraq will recognize this image. Allahu Akbar. The statue has fallen, bros. The tyrant has fallen along with his statue, bros. The rebels, HTS, they reached Assad's palace. This was a couple of days ago, just sort of walking around, looking at stuff.
هاي من داخل قصر الرئيس. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
I mean, it's a palace, right? It's a presidential palace. They look basically the same. They're wandering all around, being like, "Oh, look, there's works of art," and they've got they've got furniture and and cars and stuff. Ace reviews Turka. We got a super chat again from Texas Man Aloha Snack Bar. Yes, they were indeed looking for the Allahu snack bar, but I'm not sure if they managed to find it. Bros. And of course, Years the Eunuch. Good to see you as well. I will be on Discord and Dragons tonight at about 11 p.m. London time. I don't know who else is on. Years, if you want to tell the crowd who is also going to be on tonight, that would be great. They also have opened the prisons. Now, this is generally sort of not a good move. I mean, this is what happens, right? Of course, to the west, it appears that every single person in Assad's jails were there for like literally no reason whatsoever. They were good boys. They didn't do nothing wrong. He was an oppressive dictator, like blah, 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 blah. However, I suspect the real reason that the prisons have been opened is because there is a bunch of rebel fighters and jihadists in there. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure this prison was a horrible, horrible place. I'm not saying I would want to be there. I'm just saying that opening these prisons wholesale without sort of, for example, doing a review of the prisoners that are in there and releasing some of them generally leads to bad outcomes. But of course, in the West, they're like, oh, it's a freedom from tyranny. Look, we've all seen this story before. We know where this is going to go.
خلاص سقط بشار طلع سقط مبروك طلع
I mean, I gotta say, right, these prisoners do not look like they're in such bad condition, right? The West is all like, oh, this whole prison was just like non-stop torture, 24/7, masturbation machines. I've even seen this post going around that was like, they had this special crushing machine to like, look, obviously, I'm not saying this would be a great place to be, but they don't look like they're all starving to death or anything like that. They've got clothes on. I don't know. I'm just saying, right?
فتح الزنازين
Yes, Livia raises an excellent point. They are all clean shaven. Now, this suggests they have access to bathroom and toiletries and all this kind of like other stuff. Perhaps actually they are like forced to shave. You know how beards are like a big thing in radical Islam. Very, very interesting. Who was it in the YouTube chat said something? Lucy Adams. I don't know if you've been here before. Welcome. My concern would be the innocent Syrian people, especially the Christians. I agree. I don't think it's going to be a good time for the Syrian Christians at all. At all, at all.
زنزانة رقم 4 الحمد لله الحمد لله على السلامة الحمد لله على السلامة طلع الحمد لله أنتم أحرار طلع
They're all wearing beanies as well, right? Like, surely if the object was to torture all these people, you wouldn't be giving them beanies and warm clothes, right? Am I noticing too much, bros? Is this my problem?
الحمد لله على سلامتكم. الحمد لله على السلامة. الحمد لله على سلامتكم. الحمد لله على سلامتكم. الحمد لله على السلامة. طلع ما في شيء. سقط الحمار. طلعوا. طلع هالشي. طلع. الحمد لله على السلامة. طلع انت حر. طلع لك. طلع. طلعوا. يا اخوي هاي كرمال سقوطه تحلايه. طلع هالشي.
So yes, the Tim Pool loyalists, the Tim Pool jihadis, have been let out. They will now go on to fund a whole bunch of podcast networks, where they are basically milquetoast fence sitters. Awesome. But why go to Syria when Syria can come to you? Yes, here in the UK, Manchester, we have Syrians fighting Syrians on the streets because there is now so many different kinds of people in the UK. No war can happen anywhere without shit kicking off over here as well. I love it. Great stuff. But don't worry, bros. I'm sure it won't, break out into some kind of simmering sectarian violence on the streets of London and Manchester. Who ever heard of such a thing? Now, it turns out a lot of the Syrians are like, yay, we can, victory. And then the locals, this is from Ireland, this local's like, you want to go back home now? And they're like, oh, well, not quite so much. Check it out.
What's going on here? What's this all about?
So for the past few decades we've been under constant oppression by Bashar al-Assad, dictator of Syria.
Yeah.
He's been imprisoning civilians, he's been murdering, torturing, massacring everybody left and right.
Alright.
So since this morning, since 2 a.m. we've reclaimed Damascus being the capital of Syria.
Yes, yeah, I understand.
So the entire country is free now.
So you're free now?
We are free now.
So,
finally.
Finally. So now does that mean all you go back to Syria now?
The economic situation isn't correct.
Okay. So economic reasons. You're in Ireland, economic reasons.
We hope we can go back. We wish we can go back.
I'm sure you can go back now that you're free from occupation or whatever dictatorship. Take care.
The economic situation is not so good. Right. Yeah, this is going to be really, really interesting. It is actually going to be interesting to see whether Western countries decide they can send them back. A large number of European countries, not the UK though, of course, have basically said that they are immediately suspending all asylum applications from Syria. I believe at last count it was France, Germany, Switzerland, Poland, a bunch of European countries. Not the UK though. Not the UK, because we need 2.5 million more migrants here, for reasons. Shut the fuck up, you racist. Livia Drusilla can't go back. No benefits there. Yes, indeed. Now, this is another very, very long post. This is Aaron Mate. Basically saying, as I was saying before, that now that Assad's government has fallen, a lot of the minorities in Syria are very, very nervous, especially since Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, the now putative leader of Syria, was the founding member of Al-Qaeda in Syria, al-Nusra, anybody remember al-Nusra, and a former deputy to ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. I'm sure it'll be fine, bros. I'm sure. Look, these are the good ISIS, not the bad ISIS, right? Right. And look, if the West, pisses them off in any way, it's not like, they'll cause any trouble in Western countries, right? What an absurd proposition. Jolani now claims that him being a mass murdering head of ISIS and Al-Qaeda was just a phase. It's just a phase. He was a teenager at the time. He got caught up, in a mosque. He wanted to be like with all the cool kids and get a bunch of that, Islamic poon. He just got sucked into it, bros. He just got sucked into it, right? He didn't really support all the beheadings and the atrocities and the massacring the Alawites and the Druze and the Christians and killing entire families. Come on, but look, who among us, have not been to a radical mosque and, looked at the imam with all of his like slinky wives in there, obviously not in the mosque, but outside the mosque, maybe seen them like, coming out the woman's entrance and been like caught a flash of ankle. And you're like, whoa, mate, sign me up, right? And then afterwards you're like, you've got the 8 wives and they still haven't brought you happiness, bro. You still got to buy like Tinker Toys for your latest wife until she comes of age. Fucking hell. Oh, God. The same global compassion for Syrians who suffered under Assad should now extend to those Syrians now fearing new atrocities. Does that mean like bring them into our countries? Because I don't know about that. Could they perhaps make a safe zone in Syria? Perhaps. No, they probably have to all come to the West. The US and its allies spent billions of dollars arming an insurgency they knew was dominated by Al-Qaeda that carried out atrocities like in Latakia. The US military has occupied a large swath of northeastern Syria, stealing its oil and wheat. The US has also imposed crippling sanctions, that as Trump-Biden officials boast about crushed Syria's economy, denied reconstruction, and have exacerbated fuel and food shortages for everyday Syrians. Look, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine, bros. Come on, right? Like, it's gonna be awesome. There are already footage of Christians converting to Islam. Probably the smart move. The problem, of course, in Christianity is there isn't a thing that says that you're allowed to pretend to be another religion if times turn bad. Both the Jews and the Muslims have this. I don't know why someone didn't have an ear, have a word to Constantine, or maybe travel back in time and say to Jesus, like, hey, this whole going around loudly proclaiming your faith is going to get people killed. Anyway.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله الله أكبر الله
Please do not kill my family. I am a Muslim now. I don't know. Could be genuine. It's very, very easy to convert to Islam, by the way. All you have to do is say the Shahada. It's very, very low barrier to entry. So this is the guy, Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, who, a mere few years ago, would have been sought after by Western intelligence agencies. In fact, he still has a $10 million bounty on his head from the US State Department. Mate, the State Department, right, should just claim the bounty for themselves and say, like, we didn't kill him, right, but he has now become a moderate who believes in diversity, so give us the money. This is The Guardian, presumably, again, part of the British establishment, so they'll be trying to, like, whitewash this guy. The head of the jihadi group seeks to portray himself as a more moderate leader by hugging puppies and flying the pride flag and talking about diversity. But many doubt the sincerity of his words. Interesting the way that Guardian puts this. If he was like a neo-Nazi, you wouldn't get any of this like, oh, is he sincere or not, right? It'd just be like, burn that fucker, burn him now. Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, leader of the Islamist insurgent alliance that has captured swaths of Syria, is an extremist who has adopted a more moderate posture to try and achieve his goals. At the head of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, I don't know what that means, which is rooted in Syria's branch of Al-Qaeda, Jolani says the goal of his offensive is to overthrow Assad's rule. When we talk about objectives, the goal of the revolution remains the overthrow of this regime. He had an interview on CNN? Oh, fuck, mate. That's how you know he's been fucking chosen, mate. I didn't even see that. My God. It is our right to use all available means to achieve that goal, including taking Western funding and weapons. He operated from the shadows for years. Now he's in the limelight, giving interviews to international media and appearing on the ground in Syria's second city. And now he's dropped the turban, bros. He's now basically rocking the Zelensky look with, like, you know, the khakis and stuff like that. He's not a radical Islamist anymore. He's a moderate Islamist. Since breaking ties with Al Qaeda in 2016, it's fine. We just broke ties with Al Qaeda. He has sought to portray himself as a more moderate leader, but he has yet to quell suspicions among analysts and Western governments that still class HTS as a terrorist organization. Not for long. Not for you watch. They are going to revoke that classification pretty darn swiftly. He is a pragmatic radical. What does that mean? Does that mean he's he's a radical in the sheets, but a pragmatist in the streets? Does that mean he's willing to lie to the Americans and the Israelis to take their money? He's come down since 2014, right? Oh, for God's sake. Yeah. So he was on PBS as well. My God, he's done a full media circuit. How did I not see any of this? It's a bit of a shocking thing. So apparently after September 11th, he was drawn into jihadist thinking. See, I told you he was a young boy. He didn't know any better. And it was as a result of this admiration for the 9/11 attackers that the first signs of jihadism began to surface in his life as he began attending secretive sermons and panel discussions in marginalized suburbs of Damascus. So he fought against the US in Iraq, but it's fine. Joined Al Qaeda in Iraq, then founded Al Nusra, which was Syria's branch of Al Qaeda. So in 2013, he refused to swear allegiance to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who would go on to become the emir of Islamic State, and instead pledged his loyalty to Ayman al-Zawahiri from Al Qaeda. The much more moderate, of course, Ayman al-Zawahiri. He's a realist, bros. He's also proclaimed that there will be no revenge attacks against the Alawite minority. Now, to be fair to this guy, they have announced that they will not be pursuing purges against the Syrian army. So, I mean, it's possible that this isn't all just talk. Still a bit disturbing, honestly. HTS has developed civilian governments and established a semblance of a state in Idlib while crushing its rebel rivals. Throughout this process, HTS faced accusations from residents and rights groups of brutal abuses against those who dare dissent, which the UN classed as war crimes. Yeah, but they're war crimes committed by people who are useful to us, right? You got to understand there are two kinds of war crimes. There's war crimes committed by our enemies, and there's war crimes committed by our friends, right? So, God. Yep. The less local and international panic you have, and the more Jelani seems like a responsible actor instead of a toxic jihadi extremist, the easier his job will become, and the more money he will get from the West. Obviously, it's the smart thing to do right now. Here is Mr. Jolani basically giving a victory speech in the Great Umayyad Mosque in Damascus.
أن يظلم هذا الطاغية كل أهل سوريا. ما من بيت في سوريا إلا وقد طرقته باب الحق. ما من بيت في سوريا إلا وقد طرق بابه الحق. والحمد لله اليوم تتعافى سوريا بإذن الله. هذا النصر يا أخواني. الحمد لله. جديد للأمة الإسلامية بأكملها. هذا النصر يا أخواني تاريخ جديد للمنطقة. كم تلافينا من مخاطر. ترك سوريا تركها مزرعة للأطماع.
You get the idea. What else have we got? Yes, he's still got the bounty on his head. This is his transformation. Much less scary to the West if he dresses like Zelensky. Don't worry, bros. He's diverse. This is from the Washington Institute. How Syria's diversity-friendly jihadists plan on building a state. Apparently, it's going to be pluralist. There's not going to be any attacks on Christians or Druze or Alawite. It'll be fine. I am pressing X to doubt in this regard, but I'm sure they will cover it up, and I'm sure the West will help them to cover it up. Biden, of course, was very, very happy about this.
With a new constitution, a new government that serves all Syrians. And this process will be determined by the Syrian people themselves. And the United States will do whatever we can to support them, including through humanitarian relief to help restore Syria after more than a decade of war and generations of brutality by the Assad family.
Right, so the US is going to stop the sanctions on Syria now that their guy is in. And it's too early to remove HTS from the terror list, according to Starmer. Don't worry, give it a few months. They'll still give the money under the table, though. It'll be fine. Starmer says no decision has yet been made on whether the UK government would remove HTS from a list of banned terrorist groups. That means it's going to happen. We have a super chat from Yiz. Thank you very much, Yiz. I feel bad for Assad and the Christians in Syria. They got American big time. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, they did. They got very American. Starmer, of course, is in consultation with our regional allies. Look how many times this guy says regional allies.
The fact that Assad has gone, the Syrian people had to put up with his brutal regime for far, far too long. We're talking to regional allies. It's very important now that there's a political settlement, a political way forward. And it's very, very important that we emphasise that civilians and minorities must be protected in this process. But very, very pleased that Assad has fallen.
The rebel group which has taken Syria is viewed as a terror group by the government. Your government says it has links to Al-Qaeda. Will your government deal with this new Syrian regime?
Well, it's very early days at the moment. We do need a political solution to this, and that's what we're talking to regional allies about. It is a good thing that Assad is gone, a very good thing for the...
Gee, that's a lot of words to say yes. They absolutely will deal with this regime, if not directly, then through their regional allies. I wonder which regional ally he's talking about. Anyone want to make a guess?
The Syrian people. What we must also ensure as we go through this, the rejection of terrorism and violence, that civilians are protected, minorities are protected, and that can only be through a political process. That's what we're talking to allies in the region about at the moment.
You're in the region. Are you expecting any sort of communication with that new regime, or have you had any so far?
Very, very early days. At the moment, our engagement is with our allies, making sure that we're making that case for a political settlement here. We have to see this as an opportunity for the future of Syria, the future that's been denied for so long, that's a future without the terrorism and violence that we've seen far too much of in this brutal regime. So it's a real opportunity. We're talking to regional allies about how we take that opportunity for a political settlement here, but it's very, very early days.
Last question. There are many celebrating tonight. You yourself say you welcome the departure of President Assad. Are you concerned that this could be destabilising for the region? Is it something you expect to discuss while you're here in the area?
Look, I'm very pleased that Assad has gone. I think we should all welcome that. It was a brutal regime imposed on Syrians for far too long. So it is good that he's gone. That should be welcome. But it is important now that we stabilise, that we reject violence and terrorism, and that we all work towards a political solution to this, a political settlement for the future.
Yes, it's important that we work towards a political solution with fucking Al-Qaeda. Yes, we are the government. We absolutely have morals. Our decisions are not absolutely just, predicated on what is absolutely convenient at the time. The US, of course, are basically saying they're discussing the merits, bros, of removing the $10 million bounty on Jolani. They're discussing the merits. Does anyone want to make a guess on which way that decision is going to go, bros? I couldn't possibly suspect. Here's Rory Stewart, by the way, admitting that through the entirety of Assad's regime, the UK was funding Al-Qaeda in Idlib.
He put a $10 million bounty on his head. By 2016, I was the international development minister responsible for the Middle East, and I was being sent submissions from the civil service to send money to these Syrian opposition groups around Idlib up in the northwest. I was beginning to get very, very concerned that the liberals were disappearing and that a bunch of Al-Qaeda affiliates were taking over the show. Our embassy, which by then had moved to Turkey, pushed back against me and said, no, there still are secular liberal elements. Don't underestimate these town councils that you're funding. But the corruption was unbelievable. So, I found us at one point buying a electricity generator for a hospital, which it turned out the doctors had stolen the day before from the hospital and sold back to us to power the hospital, right? And you would turn up, or you'd look into these meetings and you'd see these very shadowy figures with their faces covered and guns standing in the background. It reminded me a lot of the stuff that I'd seen in Iraq and the way in which militia groups can take over. So I tried very hard to stop the funding, didn't get very far, got into a huge argument with special forces, Whitehall, America, until eventually one of the teachers we were funding appeared on a stage with Al-Qaeda.
Did that include Hayat Tahrir al-Sham?
Absolutely. They were then largely called Jabhat al-Nusra.
Right.
But the father group of HTS was absolutely the center of this whole story. And HTS is the group that's taken over that area that we, the British government, were funding. And so this is then the problem, right?
So when did we prescribe them? When did the British government prescribe HTS? Because they are prescribed, aren't they?
Yeah. We put a $10 million bounty on his head. And to put that in context, that is only for the very, very top terrorist leaders, right? You don't get a $10 million bounty easily, right?
This is for Gilani. This is for Gilani,
for
the leader.
Gilani himself, right?
Yeah.
Because Gilani himself had gone to fight in Iraq.
Yeah.
And was associated with what we call, ISIS, ISIL, Daesh.
And
Well, he's our friend now, isn't he, Rory? Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, now you're all caught up on what's going on in Syria. Like I said, it's complicated. Our final story of the night. Who wants digital ID? Woo! Digital ID! Ooh, I can't wait. Digital ID is to be introduced for pubs and clubs in the UK. Government initiative is part of a wider effort to move more state functions online, including paying taxes and opening a bank account. So convenient, bros. So convenient. What, convenient for us? No, it's convenient for the government. Young people will now be able to use government-backed digital ID to prove they are old enough to drink alcohol under legal changes to take effect next year. They will be able to sign up to digital ID companies that are certified against government-set standards for security and reliability, and then use the app on their smartphone to prove they are over 18 when visiting pubs, restaurants, and shops. So it's not even going to be the government doing this. Is how they're going to get around. They're going to be like, no, it's not the government running these digital ID schemes. It's a private company. I thought private company could do what they want. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's part of a wider effort to move more state functions online so that people can prove their identity for everything from paying taxes to opening a bank account. And this, of course, is what it's really about, bros. It's not about getting into the pub. It's about paying taxes and opening a bank account. It will use a single sign-on rather than the two-step identity verification currently needed online for all government services, including applying for benefits. Now, if you are a sort of long-time watcher of this show, you will know that this was Tony Blair's solution to mass migration, a solution to a problem which he helped to create. Funny how that works. I mean, if this is in fact, they might just basically say, in the name of diversity and inclusion and all these immigrants just get digital IDs, by default, right? But if you say naughty words on the internet, you don't get a digital ID. Denied, Sar. Although it is a step to the wider use of digital IDs, Sir Keir Starmer ruled out ID cards. All right, because it's a little card that is the problem. If you've got it on your phone, it's not an ID card, bro. It won't be mandatory, bros. It won't be mandatory, right? Nah. It'll just be like the fucking COVID vaccine. No one forced you to take it, bros. These changes are being enacted through the Data Use and Access Bill currently before Parliament, which means companies that provide digital identity services can seek independent certification against government-set standards for security and reliability. How long until you need one to use the internet, bros? No one's talking about that. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure that's just a conspiracy theory. If successful, the services will get a little thing from the UK government. and you'll be able to like prove your age with it. The first step will be to give landlords, very important. Notice they didn't lead with saying, you know, you will have to present digital ID in order to rent anything or to pay tax. No, they said, you know, like, to verify getting into the pub, of course. It's just going to be a quick check, bros. Like scanning a QR code or using technology similar to contactless bank cards. Assuming it goes through, bros, what happens if your ID is denied and shit? It is likely to be integrated into supermarkets and shops' checkout scanning systems. Oh, joy! Which will end the delays for customers when they have to call over the attendant to physically confirm they are old enough to buy alcohol. Oh, well, that's awesome. That's awesome. But don't worry, it's not going to be compulsory yet. You know, so yeah, that's totally awesome. I'm so stoked and on board for that. How long? Yeah, as Livia Drusilla says, Miliband will use it to limit your travel entitlements. How long until this, you know, devolves into a social credit score? You need it to like get on the internet or like, you know, travel or, oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, it's coming, bros. I hope everyone is awesomely stoked for that. Anyway, that's all the news we have for tonight. It is now time for some cringe, bros. Now tonight, we have a breaking story that I have folded into cringe. Here is Lennon, of course. Daniel Penny has been found not guilty. Bros, white man convicted of saving people whilst being white and being a man has been found not guilty in a hideous miscarriage of justice. How dare he not be convicted for trying to save people whilst being white? Now, although of course the you know, the people will be like, oh, you know, this is because justice was served. No, it wasn't, right? The way this worked is that in New York, you need an unanimous verdict from the jury. And one of the things about having such a massively polarized society is there is no way you are ever going to get unanimity from the jury unless you get everyone from one side or the other. So in these kinds of cases, it is almost guaranteed that you are going to have a mistrial. So BLM is not happy about that. Yes, BLM is still a thing. They have not gone away. This dude apparently is now the head of BLM. What's his name? I forget. Big Nig. He's not happy, bros.
Pick. Call him a hero. How? Would Daniel Penny be a hero if Jordan Neely was white? No. He'd be a man that went too far. But that's America. Black lives do not matter to you. They didn't matter in the 2000s. They didn't matter in the 50s and 60s. They didn't matter in the 1800s. Black lives do not matter in America. Black people don't mean anything to white America.
Yeah, come on. If fucking Jordan Neely had been white, you wouldn't have given a shit. If Daniel Penny had been black, you wouldn't have given a shit. Come on, right? This is Neely's family, someone from his family, basically saying, again, he was a good boy. He didn't do nothing, bros. He was just on his way back from astronaut school, having a little bit rest before going to train as a neurosurgeon.
Jordan came on that subway car. The first thing he asked for was food, and he was killed. And the person who killed him was not held responsible. We cannot allow this to keep happening. Jordan came on that subway.
Man, they still haven't changed their narrative literally from like 4 years ago, man. Like he just wanted food, right? The only reason he started threatening all those people in that subway car is because he was hangry, right? You know, he hadn't had his Weetabix that day, and as a result, right? Like not because he was like homeless or a drug addict or like violent or had like 42 fucking charges on his criminal record. No. Now after the not guilty verdict, Hank Newsom, this is the guy. BLM they were very angry, bros. Very, very angry. I mean, you know, wow, what a fucking surprise.
Just like everybody else has vigilantes, we need some black vigilantes.
What, you don't have black vigilantes? Bitch, did you just like, did BLM like riots completely slip your mind? Oh, we need black vigilantes. Who's the white vigilantes? What, this one fucking guy?
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud? How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us.
Right.
I'm tired.
Tired.
I know you're looking for us to be like, oh, go and march. Go and march. No. This weekend, I want you to hold a community event everywhere from the Bronx to Houston to Seattle to Florida. Black people hold community event and talk about what you need. It's like,
man, I gotta say, I'd love to see whites having this energy. Like, oh no, wait, that would be Nazi and racist and shit. It's okay when the blacks do it though. There has been some argy-bargy outside the courthouse. Nothing really massive yet. I will be keeping an eye on it. I suspect there'll be some great clips by the time Thursday rolls around.
Wait, Joe, wait. All right, hold on. You guys, get off.
Come around this way.
He was hungry! He was killed for being poor! No justice, no peace! Shame on you! No justice, no peace!
This is fucking sick. They don't give a goddamn about us. I didn't hurt nobody or kill no goddamn body. But I did more time than that man did for killing somebody.
Shame!
If we don't get no justice,
then they don't get no peace!
If we don't get no justice,
then they don't get no peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Get my phone! You're going down, Mr. It's going down! Mr. I know you hear us! You know you hear us! Where's America great? Where's America great? Where's America great? Mr. Donald, Mr. Trump, where's America great? Only for the white people? Only for the white soldiers? Only for the white soldiers? Why was he dismissed? Why was he dismissed from the Marines? Why was he dismissed? Why was he dismissed? Why?
Well, as you can tell, a very, very cogent argument there from the black activists. We have sort of like old rambling alcoholic guy and chunky Shaniqua with megaphone. I mean, oh man, I'm totally convinced. I can't just for fuck's sake. I don't know. I mean, chat. What do you reckon? Do you reckon this is gonna kick off into like a full chimp out, or are they a bit demoralized? Like, I guess we're going to see, aren't we? Now this is we've got a lot of minorities tonight. This is an excellent example of what's going down in the UK. This is apparently a bunch of gypsy shoplifters being arrested outside a very, very classy shopping district in London, basically doing the George Floyd. George Floyd has he's spread all over the world. Now, basically, anyone in that sort of line of work, if the cops or security touch you, just start screaming as loud as possible and just be like, oh my God! You see it everywhere.
Go to the office.
Calm down. Let's try to move. Let's try to move. Turn them around. Move them.
Do you notice, by the way, that all the security guys are black or Asian, so they can't be accused of racism?
Yes, I'm not happy. Let's go. Let's go. You will go. You will go. Father, please. Father, please. I've seen you. Come on, stop it. Pick it up. Father, go. Father, go. What the hell? Put that.
Excuse me. They're shoplifting. What are you doing? They're shoplifting. Okay, you calm down. Let's go.
Go inside.
Just be calm, that's good. Just walk calmly.
So yeah, so this is a professional shoplifting ring. They totally do this, like, you know, fuck knows how much they've like stolen. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we got some like funny videos for you all now. Enough of the cringe. A lot of this stuff, by the way, came from Texas Man's channel, USDA Prime Memes. Say these if you want to put that in the chat. Oh, and I forgot to shill. Bros, I'm so bad at shilling. If you would like to support Buy Me a Beer or something like that, you can do so through Entropy. Linky is tabbed in the thing. Please to give Earth Monies.
We need Earth Monies to appear as normal Earth pigs. Mini Moose, how much have we earned?
Mini Moose. Yes, all Earth Monies gratefully appreciated. Right. On to the funny videos. Wait, I lost my window. Oh, god damn it. Here we go. Enjoy.
Oh! Yeah! Snow Shovel Roulette's the best game ever.
Whatever, man.
Oh!
Yes, it is.
Oof. That looks painful, bros. Right. This is really good.
But what jumped out as potentially the most alarming detail was that within the actual Trump campaign, the person whose name is being floated to be Trump's Attorney General of the United States to run the Justice Department is this guy.
Your pussy! Hey, bring the camera, son. Bring the camera. All the young girls who want to make life with pussy, your pussy will perish with you in hell. May your pussy perish with you.
I presume that's like Nigeria. Something. Bruh. Oh, this is really good. This one is especially for Sede Sapiente. Yes, that is what I do at home. Exactly. And these next ones are from Sadays herself. Thank you very, very much.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. Let's go to Chicago tonight, where a 9-year-old patriot by the name of Kevin McAllister had to defend his own home against a couple of homeless thugs. As for why he didn't just phone the police, nobody knows. Some are saying he should have. He's just a child. Some are even suggesting he's psychotic, and this will happen a second time. As for the tools he used to defend himself, there was a BB gun, blowtorch, glass, nails, paint cans, even a tarantula. I mean, where do you get a spider? Where do you get a spider? As for the names of the intruders, it was just Harry and Marv. There are no last names, nor should you care. If you break into somebody's home, you may as well be part of the Taliban in my eyes. But where were his parents? Turns out that his upper-class Democrat family were vacationing in Paris, France at the time. What a coincidence. That's where all the cowards go.
Yes, his parents went off to, hang out with the cheese-munching surrender monkeys. I don't know, what this is, but this is awesome.
I'm gonna get back when I feel like. Don't give me this. Don't give me lip. That's what you get when you act a fool. Just one of these days, you're gonna get paid. Better watch your back. It's gonna get personal. Just one of these days, you're gonna get paid. Better watch your back.
Oh man, I love that energy. Right, I think we're on to cute animal videos. Enjoy. I didn't know cats could drive. Bears also apparently can drive.
Hey, buddy. You can't park there. You can't park there. Dude, go. Oh, crap. Oh, it's so big.
He couldn't figure out where the parking brake was. It's one of those new cars with the weird ass parking brake. It's really, really hard to get to. Not built for bear paws. Otherwise, he would have been home with his bear wife by now. Right? Weirdo cats. Oh my god.
She's like, I'm staying low.
Aww. Oh wait, it keeps going on. There you go. Cats and stairs. Hilarious. Trash panda in the pantry. Bruh. Right, we've got some nice cute stuff to finish off with. Enjoy. else have we got? We got a bunch of like snow ones this week since it's winter. Yes, as Rat Fun King says, what is winter? This snow is a myth. Yes, London only knows water from sky and 40 miles per hour wind. Yeah, basically. Yep. Yep. We love it here. More cute snow stuff.
It's beginning to look a lot like
You guys gotta chill.
Christmas everywhere you go.
Aw, so cute. I mean, a little sinister, but also cute. You'd be like, what do they want? Food, presumably. Or possibly like, an impromptu concert of some kind. More snow deer. Who's looking all tasty there? Feed me for the winter. And finally, Snowcat. And that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. A quick goodbye to everyone in the chat. On Rumble, Livia Drusilla, Sadie Sapiente, Fox39 Forever, Texas Man, Ivan the Horrible. Let me see, who else we got? I know Mikey Bikey was here, Rat Fun King, Patriots Flow, Years the Eunuch, whom I will see tonight. Anybody else that I have forgotten? Crispy13, good to see you, mate. Ivan the Horrible, Wyatt's Torch, Hayes Reviews, great to see you, Nick. Who else have we got? Anybody else that I missed? If there's anyone I missed, and Teabagging Therapist, of course. And I think Third Railify was in here as well. Good to see you, mate. Should be doing a stream with him sometime soon. Livia Drusilla, of course. Yep, I think that's everybody. If there's anyone I missed, I do apologize. On YouTube, we have Mark Whitehead. I think you're new. Thanks for coming along, mate. Lomax, of course. Simon JJ, Dawn Browning, Origin Party. Anybody else? Don't know if there's any. Oh, Lucy Adams. I think you're new. Good to see you. Linda Hunter. I think that's everybody. If there's anyone I forgot, again, apologies. And on Odyssey, we have the old one too. I think you're new as well. Jeffrey Mill. Always great to see you, Jeffrey. And of course, shout out to all the lurkers in the chat. I know you're out there. I can see the viewing figures. I will be on Discord and Dragons tonight in about an hour and 45 minutes, 11 p.m. London time. That's like 6 p.m. Eastern. Come along. It should be fun. I will be back on Thursday for another Habbening TV, and after that, Empire of Lies. See you then, everyone. Good night.